God says, someone taped your voice when you were speaking to your inner self. Imagine this scenario. You're having a conversation with yourself. Perhaps pondering life's mysteries or mulling over a difficult decision. It's a private moment, just you and your thoughts, or so you think. But what if I told you that someone or something was listening in? That your most intimate reflections were not as private as you believed? Intrigued? Well, buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey through the fascinating world of surveillance, spirituality, and the strange intersection where the two collide. In today's hyper-connected world, privacy is a luxury that few can afford. With the rise of sophisticated surveillance technologies, we're constantly under the watchful eye of cameras, microphones, and algorithms. But what happens when the surveillance isn't just physical, but spiritual? What happens when our innermost thoughts and conversations are monitored by forces beyond our comprehension? Let's delve into the realm of the supernatural for a moment. Many religious and spiritual traditions believe in the existence of a higher power, an omniscient being who sees and knows all. Whether you call it God, the universe, or something else entirely, the concept of a divine entity that is aware of our every thought and action is a common thread that runs through many faiths. Now, imagine if this divine entity could not only observe us but also record our inner dialogue. What would they do with this information? Would they use it to guide us, to offer insight and wisdom, or would they simply watch, silently observing as we navigate the complexities of existence? The idea may seem far-fetched to some, but for others, it's a deeply held belief. Throughout history, there have been numerous accounts of individuals claiming to have experienced divine communication, whether through visions, dreams, or direct revelations. From the prophets of ancient times to the mystics of the modern era, the idea that God speaks to us in mysterious ways is a notion that has persisted across cultures and civilizations. But what about those of us who aren't prophets or mystics? What about the ordinary people who go about their lives, grappling with everyday concerns and dilemmas? Is it possible that God, or whatever higher power you believe in, is listening in on our conversations with ourselves? The notion may seem unsettling at first, akin to the feeling of being watched when you're alone in a dark room. But perhaps there's comfort to be found in the idea that we're never truly alone, that there's a benevolent presence watching over us, even in our most vulnerable moments. Of course, not everyone subscribes to the belief in a divine presence, and that's perfectly okay. The beauty of spirituality is that it's deeply personal, and what resonates with one person may not resonate with another. But regardless of our individual beliefs, the idea of being monitored, whether by a higher power or by more earthly means, raises important questions about privacy, autonomy, and the nature of existence itself. In an age where data is king and surveillance is omnipresent, the concept of privacy has become increasingly elusive. We're constantly bombarded with messages about the importance of protecting our personal information, Yet we willingly hand over vast amounts of data to corporations and governments without a second thought. But what about the data that resides within us, the thoughts, feelings, and inner dialogues that make us who we are? Who has the right to access that information, and for what purpose? These questions become even more pressing when we consider the potential consequences of our innermost thoughts being laid bare. In a world where our digital footprints can be used against us, from targeted advertising to algorithmic bias, the idea of our inner thoughts being weaponized is a chilling prospect indeed. But perhaps there's another way to look at it. Perhaps the notion of being monitored, whether by God or by some other entity, can serve as a reminder to live our lives with intention and integrity. If we knew that our every thought and action was being recorded for eternity, would we behave differently? Would we strive to be better versions of ourselves, knowing that our innermost selves were on display for all to see? It's a thought-provoking idea, to be sure. And while we may never know for certain whether our inner dialogues are being monitored by some divine presence, the very act of pondering the possibility can lead us to deeper insights about ourselves and our place in the universe. But it's not just our online activities that are being monitored. Advances in surveillance technology have made it easier than ever for governments and corporations to track our movements in the physical world as well. Whether it's through facial recognition software, GPS tracking, or the proliferation of security cameras in public spaces, our every move is being watched, recorded, and analyzed. And let's not forget about the rise of social media, where we willingly share the most intimate details of our lives with the world at large. From photos of our meals to status updates about our relationships, we've become accustomed to living our lives in the digital spotlight, often without fully considering the implications of our actions. These are questions that don't have easy answers, but they're questions that we must grapple with if we're to navigate the complexities of the digital age. In recent years, there's been a growing awareness of the importance of digital privacy and data protection, with movements like #delete Facebook and #privacy gaining traction among consumers who are fed up with being treated as commodities by tech giants. We need robust regulations that prioritize the rights of individuals over the profits of corporations, and we need technological solutions that empower users to take control of their data. In the meantime, there are steps that we can take to protect our privacy in our daily lives. From using encrypted messaging apps to browsing the web with VPNs, there are plenty of tools and techniques available to help us reclaim control over our digital identities. And perhaps most importantly, we can cultivate a greater awareness of how our thoughts and actions are being monitored, both online and offline. So the next time you find yourself engaged in a conversation with your inner self, remember this: you may not be as alone as you think. Whether it's a higher power listening in from above or a corporation tracking your every move online, the very act of introspection is a powerful reminder of our interconnectedness with the world around us. And in the end, perhaps that's the most important lesson of all, that despite the constant surveillance and the ever-present eyes and ears of modern technology, we still have the power to shape our destinies, to chart our course through the vast expanse of existence. So let's use that power wisely, and let's never forget that our thoughts, our actions, and our voices are our own and no one else's.